Good day and thank you for joining us on Beetv Global News Update at 12. I am Liberator Johanna. Now the news in details. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum has assured football fans around the world that there is no risk in traveling to Mexico for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, despite a recent surge of violence following the reported capture and death of the country's most wanted cartel leader, Nemesio Seguera. The report.
Speaking during a national press briefing, Sheinbaum emphasized that security operations are ongoing and under control, particularly in Jalisco, where unrest flared after the operation targeting the cartel figure. Authorities reported incidents of arson, road blockage, and clashes between suspected cartel members and security forces in parts of the state. Oseguara, widely known by his alias El Mencho, was the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generational Cartel, CJNG, one of Mexico's most dominant and violent criminal groups. His reported death triggered retaliatory actions by armed groups seeking to demonstrate strength and disrupt government operations. President Sheinbaum stated that federal and state authorities acted swiftly to contain the disturbances. She noted that the violence was concentrated on specific areas and did not pose a nationwide security threat. According to her, coordination between the military, National Guard, and local law enforcement has been reinforced to prevent further escalation. Mexico is set to co-host the 2026 FIFA World Cup alongside the United States and Canada, marking the first time three countries will jointly stage the tournament. Several Mexican cities, including Guadalajara in Jalisco State, are scheduled to host matches. Government officials reiterated that preparations for the tournament remains on track. Security planning for the World Cup, they said, has been ongoing for months and includes international cooperation, intelligence sharing, and special event security strategies. Sheinbaum stressed that ensuring the safety of both residents and international visitors is a priority for her administration. There is no risk for those who wish to come to Mexico to enjoy the World Cup, she said, adding that the country has successfully hosted major global sporting events in the past. Security analysts note that while cartel-related violence remains a concern in some regions, large-scale international events typically receive heightened security protection. Authorities are expected to maintain a visible security presence in host cities before and during the tournament. The 2026 World Cup is projected to attract millions of visitors to North America, with Mexico anticipating significant tourism revenue and global attention. Government representatives maintain that recent incidents in Jalisco will not affect the country's readiness to deliver a safe and successful tournament. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BTV News.
Warner Bros. Discovery has reopened discussions with Paramount Skydance following a revised offer from the rival bidder. Paramount raised its proposal to $31 per share in cash, up from its previous bid, signaling an escalation in the ongoing acquisition battle. The report.
The updated proposal includes a $7 billion regulatory termination fee payable if the transaction fails due to antitrust or other regulatory hurdles, as well as $2.8 billion fee to cover Warner Bros. Discovery termination obligations under its existing agreement with Netflix. Paramount has also committed to provide any required equity funding and contractual protections for the deal, along with thickened fee structure beginning from September 30th, 2026, to incentivize timely completion of the transaction. WBD board stated that Paramount's revised proposal could reasonably be expected to lead to a company superior proposal, but emphasized that it has not yet determined that the offer is superior to its existing agreement with Netflix. If the board ultimately finds Paramount's proposal superior, Netflix would have 4 business days to revise or improve its offer under the terms of the merger agreement. The development marks a new phase in the bidding war for Warner Bros. Discovery, which controls major media assets including Warner Studios, HBO Max, CNN, and the extensive cable network portfolio. Analysts say the higher cash offer and larger termination fees strengthen Paramount's position, putting pressure on Netflix to respond. The board continues to evaluate both proposals carefully, balancing shareholder value, regulatory risk, and the likelihood of a successful deal. Zainab Mohammed reporting for Beetv News.
President Donald Trump has reiterated his hardline stance on Iran, warning that he will not allow the country to develop nuclear weapons. Speaking briefly, Trump described Iran as the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, and emphasized that this status makes the acquisition of nuclear capabilities unacceptable. The report.
Trump's remark come amid ongoing international concerns over Iran's nuclear program and negotiations aimed at curbing its development. He suggested that a possible military response could be considered if Iran continues its nuclear ambitions, framing it as a matter of national and global security. During his statement, Trump focused on the threat posed by Iran's regional influence and support for militant groups. He stressed that preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons is crucial to maintaining stability in the Middle East and protecting U.S. interests abroad. Experts note that Iran has repeatedly stated its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, but concerns persist among U.S. officials and allies about potential weapons development. Trump's declaration reflects a continuation of the aggressive posture he took during his presidency, contrasting with diplomatic approaches pursued by subsequent administration. The statement also signals a broader political message as Trump positioned himself on foreign policy issues that remain central to U.S. Middle East relations. Zainab Mohammed reporting for Beetv News.
Wall Street closed higher on Monday, led by a strong rally in technology stocks, as renewed investor enthusiasm for artificial intelligence helped offset lingering concerns about potential disruptions from the emerging technology. The report.
The Nasdaq Composite heavily weighted with tech shares led the gains, reflecting increased buying in companies developing AI tools, softwares, and related infrastructure. Analysts attributed the upward momentum to a mix of optimism over AI-driven growth opportunities and improving investor sentiment towards the tech sector. Investors are increasingly confident in the long-term potential of AI, said a market strategist. While there are legitimate concerns about how this technology may disrupt existing industries, the immediate focus has shifted to companies that are positioned to benefit from AI innovation. Many tech players saw significant gains, driving broader market indexes higher. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average also ended the session in positive territory, supported by strength in tech-related industries and selective gains in consumer and industrial sectors. Market watchers caution that while AI excitement is fueling short-term momentum, the sector remains vulnerable to regulatory scrutiny, ethical debates, and implementation challenges. For now, however, the investor appetite for tech stocks continue to lift Wall Street, signaling optimism about the evolving role of AI in business and the economy. Evelyn is heavily reporting for Beetv News.
Owner of a Northern Everglades Airboat Tour Company in Florida says he may have to sell some of his business assets to keep the company afloat as record-breaking drought conditions lower water levels to unsafe depth for boat operations. The report.
The prolonged dry spell, which has persisted through much of the region's wet season, has left parts of the Everglades with dangerously shallow water. This has forced tour operators to cancel or scale back trips, directly impacting revenue and threatening jobs for local guides and staff. Without enough water, our boats simply cannot run safely, Jones said. We may have no choice but to sell equipment or other assets just to prevent the business from going bankrupt. Tourism officials warn that the droughts could have wider economic consequences beyond individual operators. Many small businesses in communities near the Everglades rely heavily on airboat tours and related tourism, including hotels, restaurants, and local attraction. Environmental expert notes that the drought is part of a growing pattern of extreme weather events affecting South Florida. They caution that prolonged low water levels can also harm wildlife habitats and disrupt the ecosystem, which could further affect the tourism industry in the long term. For airboat companies like Jones, the uncertainty of weather patterns and fluctuating water levels poses a major operational challenge, leaving some operators to reconsider the sustainability of their businesses in the northern Everglades. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for Beetv.
Moving on to business news, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has signed an off-take agreement with 12 major petroleum marketing companies to distribute between 60 million and 65 million liters of premium multi-spirit petrol daily across Nigeria. The arrangement is expected to stabilize fuel supply nationwide and strengthen the country's fuel self-sufficiency while allowing surplus production to be exported. The report.
President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, said the refinery will supply up to 65 million liters per day to the domestic market, with an estimated surplus of 15 to 20 million liters marked for export. Nigeria's daily petrol consumption is estimated at between 50 million and 60 million liters, positioning the refinery to meet local demand and potentially exceed it. Based on projected output, the refinery could supply between 1.8 billion and over 2 billion liters of petrol monthly, depending on production levels. The new distribution framework follows an earlier agreement with downstream operators aimed at stabilizing supply and reducing price volatility in the domestic fuel market. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has announced that Nigeria will begin exporting the new light, sweet crude grade known as Carlton in March. The move is part of efforts to boost oil production and strengthen the country's standing within the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries as it seeks higher output targets amid improving production levels. The new grade will be exported through the floating storage and offloading vessel Carlton, which has a storage capacity of about 2.2 million barrels. The facility is designed to support production and transportation from oil mining lease 18 and nearby assets in the eastern Niger Delta. The first export cargo is expected in the third week of March, with loading scheduled for March 24 to 25. Carlton crude, with an API gravity of 36.4, is comparable in quality to Nigeria's flagship Burning Light, a grade prized by refiners for its high gasoline and diesel yields. Its introduction could raise Nigeria's crude and condensate output from about 1.65 million barrels per day to roughly 1.7 million barrels per day, depending on operational stability and market demand. The African Stablecoin Network has backed Olayemi Cardoso, governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, over his call to modernize cross-border payments. Cardoso said current systems remain slow, expensive and fragmented, with remittance costs above 6% and settlement delays that can last several days, limiting access for many businesses in developing economies. In response, the network said stablecoins and digital payment infrastructure could offer faster, cheaper, and more inclusive alternatives if supported by clear and harmonized regulations. It added that blockchain-based systems could reduce transaction times from days to minutes and cut remittance costs to below 1%, helping to unlock greater economic participation across Africa. Naomi Ewere, reporting from Beetv News.
On entertainment news, Nigerian business leader and former bank chairperson Ibukun Awosika has cautioned families about the danger of hidden debt and the illusion of wealth. The report.
Speaking about her experience in the financial sector, Awashika noted that many individuals who appear affluent are in reality heavily indebted. According to her, Some families only discover the true state of their finances after the death of a breadwinner when creditors begin to make claims on assets. Drawing from her time as chairman of a bank, she emphasized that outward display of wealth can be misleading. She described instances where individuals live large while carrying significant financial obligations that their spouses and children are unaware of. In another development, Nollywood actor Ray Modi has announced his exit from the film industry, citing traumatic experience on movie sets and family pressures as key reasons for his decision. In a candid Instagram video message, Modi revealed that some of his filming experiences were life-threatening. He recounted filming in a town plagued by violence where gunshots could be heard while on set. The actor also shared that his decision was influenced by concerns for his mental well-being and expectations of his family. Despite stepping away from acting, Modi expressed gratitude for his experiences in Nollywood, acknowledging both the challenges and the memorable moments. Martin Short is stepping away from work following the death of his daughter, Catherine Short, at age 42. Shortly after the news was confirmed, his upcoming comedy show with Steve Martin, scheduled for February 27th in Milwaukee, was postponed. The venue announced that tickets will be honored for a rescheduled date, with more details to come. Earlier that day, a representative for the Only Murders in the Building star confirmed with profound grief that Catherine, the daughter of Martin Short, and his late wife, Nancy Dolman, had passed away. The family said they are devastated by the loss and asked for privacy during their difficult time, remembering Catherine for the light and joy she brought into their lives. According to reports, Catherine died by apparent suicide. Law enforcement sources said authorities responded to her home in the Nollywood Hills on February 24th. The family has not shared further details. And that's it on the entertainment news. Evelyn Isibla reporting for Beetv News.
And lastly, on sports news, Ernest Ahano, the 18-year-old Nigerian-born defender, has emerged as one of Europe's most sought-after young centre-backs ahead of the summer transfer window, attracting interest from Atletico Madrid as well as several English Premier League clubs, including Manchester United, Tottenham, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. Atletico Madrid have reportedly stepped up their monitoring of Ahano as they look to strengthen their defense. Ahano has impressed since joining Atalanta BC from Genoa last summer, making 24 appearances across all competitions in the 2025-26 season, including the UEFA Champions League, and accumulating nearly 1,500 minutes. His rapid rise has made him a key target for top European clubs, with scouts dispatched to track his development closely. Reports indicate that Ahano's contract with Atalanta includes a release clause between 50 million euros and 65 million euros, a figure unlikely to shape negotiations. Interest from Manchester United is linked to uncertainty over Harry Maguire's future, while Newcastle and Tottenham are exploring defensive reinforcements amid speculation surrounding their current centre-backs. And that's it in our Global News Update. Thank you for joining us. I am Libet Manjohana. Bye for now.